Crypto News, December 6, 2025. Hello, crypto community. Welcome to today's full crypto market update. In this episode, we dive into what happened on December 6, 2025, price moves, institutional activity, altcoin dynamics, macro context, and what to watch for next. 1. Market overview. BTC and ETH sideways, mixed sentiment. Over the past 24 hours, the broader crypto market moved largely sideways, with major coins showing minimal net gains or slight declines. According to recent data, Bitcoin, BTC, is holding near the $89,600 to $90,000 range. Meanwhile, Ethereum, ETH, appears more stable. Some indicators show ETH has broken away from the broader market, hinting at more strength or resilience compared to BTC. This relative outperformance of ETH over BTC has sparked renewed interest and speculation. Many believe capital might be shifting toward Ethereum and other dynamic assets. Why this matters? The sideways or range-bound behavior in major coins often sets the backdrop for potential breakouts or breakdowns. If ETH holds steady while BTC struggles, it could mark the beginning of another divergence cycle. 2. Institutional and supply-side signals. ETH accumulation and supply squeeze. One important data point. The share of ETH held on centralized exchanges has reportedly dropped to a historic low, around 8.8%. That suggests much of Ethereum's supply is moving out of exchange wallets, possibly into staking, long-term holdings, or other locked positions. Fewer ETH on exchanges, less available for immediate sale. That could create a supply squeeze, which often precedes upward pressure on price if demand holds or increases. Combined with signs of investor interest shifting from BTC to ETH and even to other altcoins, this points toward a structural shift in how capital flows in crypto, away from store-of-value BTC toward more dynamic, growth-oriented assets. Conclusion for long-term holders: if supply continues to dry up and demand gains, ETH or other less liquid assets might offer better upside potential than BTC in the coming months. 3. Altcoins and market rotation, where capital might be flowing. With BTC showing little movement and ETH stabilizing, many investors appeared to be rotating capital into altcoins and more speculative projects. This shift toward altcoins can signal growing risk appetite, though with higher risk. The reasoning, with major coins stuck in a range, upside potential may lie in smaller, more volatile assets. Some altcoin projects and smaller cap tokens could benefit, especially those with recent updates, news, or ecosystem developments. That said, as always, the risk is higher than for established coins. What to watch out for? Rapid capital rotation can lead to volatility. If macro or sentiment-driven headwinds hit, altcoins tend to be hit harder than BTC or ETH. 4. Macro and external context. What's influencing crypto now? The crypto market remains sensitive to macroeconomic conditions, global risk sentiment, and broader financial markets. Institutional capital flows and regulatory signals continue to weigh heavily on investor decisions. Amid an uncertain macro backdrop and potential global headwinds, some investors appeared to be repositioning into more agile assets, like ETH or altcoins, rather than sticking solely with BTC. On the supply side, the decrease of ETH availability on exchanges, partly due to staking, long-term holdings, or removal from liquid supply pools, could amplify any upward price moves if demand increases. Takeaway: in such an environment, crypto behaves less like a speculative bubble and more like a dynamic risk asset class, reactive to macro trends, capital flows, and liquidity dynamics. 5. Potential scenarios. What could happen next? Given current signals, here are plausible near to mid-term scenarios. Scenario: trigger or condition, possible outcome. Accumulation and breakout. ETH supply squeeze plus renewed demand, capital inflow. ETH and maybe select altcoins surge toward new highs. Sideways with rotation. BTC, ETH stuck in range, but capital rotates into altcoins. Volatile market. Gains for altcoins, but higher risk, sharp drawdowns possible. Macro-driven crash. Negative macroeconomic news or global risk off. Broad market pullback. Altcoins hit hardest. BTC, ETH fall with them. Slow buildup. Steady accumulation, gradual sentiment improvement. Slow but stable growth. Cautious optimism among investors. My view, the most likely near-term path is accumulation plus selective breakout, especially for assets with tight supply and strong fundamentals, like ETH, some Layer 2 tokens, and promising altcoins. 6. What to watch in the coming days. Monitor exchange supply data. How much ETH stays off exchanges, staking, long-term holdings, or wallets. A further drop could signal upcoming supply squeeze. Keep an eye on macro headlines, macroeconomic data, global risk sentiment, central bank moves. They'll shape how risk-on, risk-off behaves for crypto. Watch altcoin volume and news. Which projects are getting updates, partnerships, or ecosystem activity? These often lead to spikes before broader market moves. Track market sentiment and rotation. Are investors shifting capital from BTC to ETH to altcoins? That flow can be a leading indicator of where volatility and returns will come from. Summary: what today means for crypto. In short, today's market shows a shift in dynamics. BTC remains mostly sideways, ETH presents relative strength, supply-side indicators, especially for ETH, look bullish, capital seems to be rotating into altcoins, and macro factors remain a wild card. If things align, supply crunch, renewed interest, macro stability, we may be at the doorway of a new accumulation phase for crypto, one where gains might come not only from BTC, but from more dynamic tokens. As always, diversify, manage risk, and don't chase hype. And that wraps up today's crypto market update. If you found this breakdown useful, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. We bring you fresh crypto news and analysis every single day. Let me know in the comments which coins or topics you want me to cover next, and I'll include them in the upcoming episodes. Thanks for watching, stay sharp, stay informed, and as always, keep your eyes on the charts. See you in the next video.